with us. Well, let's shift focus now. The two-day Centrum Corporate Connect Institutional Investor Conference kicks off today, in which more than 100 companies are participating and around 1,500 meetings lined up over the next 2 days. Jaspal Bindra, the Executive Chairman of Centrum Group, now joins in from the sidelines of the annual conference. Hi, Mr. Bindra. Thanks very much for taking the time today. Well, just to kick it off, can you give us a sense in terms of what the theme of the conference is and what the underlying conversations are at this point in time, considering the record highs that we're sitting at?
Thank you, Ekta. This is really to get our prized corporates in the mid-cap and sector to meet with the institutional investors, to give them a private meeting and viewing. We have a very large participant list this time, over 110 corporates who are attending, and of course hundreds of fund clients who are also there. So it's off to a good start at the two-day conference.
Okay, so where are you seeing the major traction? I understand, Mr. Bindra, that the focus is on mid caps and small caps. The meetings that are lined up, where are what are the sectors where you're seeing bigger traction from investors and from companies?
I think we are finding gems and jewels in almost every sector. There are few sectors which has more of them, and there are some which have fewer of them, but we have picked through our research and analysis over the last year the ones that we think are multi-baggers from here, and we hope that will get proven over time.
Okay. What's the overall sense about the markets, Mr. Bindra? Because at this point in time, it seems as though we just seem to go from strength to strength, and any sort of uncertainty, may it just be GST, it just gets shied away at this point in time. Do you think that maybe the markets, people are a bit sanguine about the levels of the markets at this point in time, and maybe that might be a theme that people are talking about?
I think there is a mixed feeling, but we at Centrum strongly believe that there are still some very good opportunities in the market, and rather than looking at the market in a generic fashion, we've got to make our picks, and there is room. There is obviously a huge amount of liquidity which has driven the market, but the ones that have good fundamentals as well, backed by strong liquidity, will come out real winners.
Mr. Bindra, I just wanted your sense on the market itself. We have seen abundant liquidity. We've seen, on an index level, we've seen the indices move higher, a lot of stocks itself. But, in terms of the Nifty EPS, we've been constant pretty much around the 400, 420 odd level for the next 3-5 years. Now a lot of brokerages are calling for perhaps 20% growth this time around. What's your own sense, and where do you think the index looks to be fairly valued?
Well, it's difficult to make a prediction clearly in terms of a precise number, but directionally, I think at Centrum we are very convinced it is moving up, and we think it will move up quite rapidly for two reasons. One is because there is, for the first time, sufficient external interest and abundant domestic liquidity. That come together is a strong indicator and catalyst. But we also feel that the market is looking for the right opportunities. The market is willing to take risks and bet big behind future potential.
Well, you do have the top gainer on the Nifty, which is participating in the Centrum Conference today. That's Aurobindo that I'm talking about. There's been a bounce back which has taken place in the pharma sector just in the past few days, but they're a long way off from their historic peaks. Is the street maybe a little more positive? What's the underlying theme for pharmaceuticals at the conference?
Yeah, I think the pharma sector has got sort of beaten up a lot in the last few months, but clearly for the players who have a more diversified portfolio, I think there is going to be a very good future. Clearly the ones who are more concentrated will have some challenge. I think I just met with the Aurobindo management, and they remain extremely bullish about their future. We believe in how they're explaining their story for the future. But clearly, given that they are very export driven, the rupee is going to hurt them a bit.
Okay, there is some participation also from some of the mid-sized IT companies. What's your sense on, the kind of trouble or headwinds that they might be facing? You think FY18 will continue to be tough for them? And also on the other side, we've seen a big rally in metals. What is the sense you're getting about what could be the next metal sector? I mean, what could replace it?
Well, let me start with the IT sector. I think the IT sector is, as a wholesome sector, has tremendous potential. It's many of them will have to change what they were doing given what is happening in the US, etc., given where the demands are. But we all understand that technology is going to play in almost every business a far more significant role than it has done in the past. So I think the IT sector focus just on financial services and FMCG, etc., will probably get broadened into logistic companies and other areas. On the metals, particularly, we feel that the global industry is still plagued with a challenge, but there are emerging players in India, both in terms of scale and in efficiency, that will steal a march.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bindra, we're going to let you go now and get back to the conference. Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us that curtain raiser for the Centrum Conference, which is taking place today. But some important news coming in. In fact, Anil Ambani